Talking Grit, a Detroit Lions podcast. Powered by the Monroe County Reporters. Here are your hosts, Jason Harwood and Jacob Litton.
Welcome to another episode of Talking Grit. I am Jason Harwood. With me over there is Jacob Litton. You can follow us on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. Our Twitter handle is at Talking Grit Pod. But wherever you listen to us, please follow, like, subscribe. That'll get us out to more Lions fans like yourself. Jacob, are you ready to wash the Vikings loss out of your mind?
I hope so, man. Team looks a lot different than they did last time that we played them. You know, they're not as confident here, and we're favored by a lot, but don't want to get caught up like we did last week against the Vikings and start feeling safe. Definitely got to come in here and take care of business, regardless of who we're playing over there.
Yep. A little bit later, we'll feature an interview with the Command This podcast. Those are the fellows that we had on last year. Their mood in the interview is, different, I guess. They're looking at the other side of the coin, kind of like the mood that some people feel like after we lost to the Vikings, like the season's over, or in week one when we lost to the Packers. Like anytime the Lions lose one game, they're down. This team has lost their quarterback. Their defense does not look good. You could hear what really down fans are when you're talking with them. They're still fun. It's a fun interview. This guy's hilarious, so you guys will enjoy that. Jacob, why don't you tell us what transactions have happened?
All right. Transactions. First thing, just want to say the trade deadline, 0 moves for the Lions. We're going to, discuss that further in the episode that we do that just covers all the NFL. But basically, 0 moves at the trade deadline for the Lions in terms of trades. So we did, however, sign a few offensive linemen. So we got offensive lineman Jack Conley, Chris Hubbard, and then we brought Netane Moody to the practice squad. So Moody obviously has been around. He's got experience with this Lions team. So bringing him back, maybe he's got a head start over these other people, getting back up to speed. We also did place offensive lineman Christian Mahogany on IR, and then we signed linebacker Ty Summers to the active roster from the practice squad. Other noteworthy transactions, Josh Pascal and Miles Frazier practice windows were both open. So that's huge. Neither of them would count against the IR return limit, but their practice windows are open. Probably going to take most of that window, to determine if they're going to be coming back or not. Would both be huge pieces. Obviously, Miles Frazier is a rookie offensive guard. With the state of things right now, how great would that be if Miles Frazier was able to get up to speed and get up here and actually start competing and possibly starting? Pascal, obviously, we know what he is. Help on the edge, huge addition as well. DJ Reed, he may still be a week or two away. They're able to start his clock whenever, though, correct? Like they could start that, starting practicing. Yeah.
It could have been started now. I mean, essentially, it could have started this week. It sounds like it's going to be a later November type situation. But it'll be good to get him back for sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Just increase our depth across that line. We always seem to incur an injury. TA seems to come out for a series every game. Either surgery or shoulder or back. It'd be nice to just get someone of DJ Reed's caliber. I mean, that's a top corner in this league to get back would be huge.
Right. And Amik's doing a great job, but I mean, if you could slide him back into nickel and just have everybody back at their original positions where they play the best, I mean, that's what works the best for us.
That's huge. I want to touch on a little bit thing. Miles Frazier would be nice, especially if that turns into a Christian Mahogany type deal where, he's spot starting at the end of the year looking good. That'll also let us know what we got for next year, right? I mean, but it'll be nice to just get him in practice. The Lions haven't had a look at him too much. He missed all of training camp. So it'll be nice to get him against NFL guys to see what we got going into next year. Regardless if he makes a team or not, it's going to, or makes the active roster or not, it's going to help us know what we got next year a little bit ahead of time.
Yeah, you're right. It's exactly like Mahogany. Mahogany did not get any of that last year. And, he came in and was very impressive in the 2 starts that he had last year. And that led it to, the starting job this year. So, yes, I'm high on Miles Frazier. So I'm hoping that that's exactly what happens here.
Yep. I knew you'd be super excited. It was Jeremy that actually asked about, Jeremy Reisman asked about Miles Frazier, and it was really surprising. Dan's like, yeah, we're going to open up his window today. And I think that surprised Jeremy too, because I think he was just like trying to get, some timeline. And he's like, nope, we're
Yeah.
opening it today. And we're like, oh, well, that's great. You wondered if the injuries like pushed that along, like if they were like not going to elevate him this week. And they're like, nope, we need to plan ahead now.
Right.
All right. Let's move on to our section of main threats. We'll start with the Commanders' offense here. Obviously, Jay Daniels is the quarterback that we were going to be worried about going into this game. Everyone saw the gruesome injury, dislocated his elbow. I guess it's, no fracture, no ligament damage, other than just being dislocated. It's good news for the Commanders and Commanders fans. However, he definitely will miss this game. He was rated number 20. I had to double check this. Number 21 NFL player on the top 100. It blew my mind. Like second year quarterback. And then he really hasn't, I know he hasn't been healthy. He hasn't played that way this year, but he is the number 10 quarterback on the list. Marcus Mariota, his replacement, second string, is the number 8 quarterback on PFF, which I find equally crazy. Laramie Tunzel, their tackle, they traded from the Houston Texans this year. Rated tackle in PFF and NFL top 100, number 86. Their center, Tyler, do you know how to say his last name? Because
Biadasz.
I knew how. Biadasz. Yes, that's correct. Thank you. PFF rated 18, up 35. Their running back, Jacoby Krosky Merritt, 19 of 52. And Terry McLaurin is not going to probably play in this game, dealing with some leg injuries this year. NFL top 100, number 52. And he comes in rated as the PFF number 20 out of 128. So, two of their top offensive weapons, Jane Daniels, Terry McLaurin, will not be active in this game. Jacob?
That's part of the reason why Commanders feel like the sky is falling without those guys.
Yes.
And
Yes,
just to speak on that top
exactly.
100 thing, it's exactly like C.J. Stroud, right? If you remember, C.J. Stroud
Yes,
had a great rookie year,
100%.
and then all of a sudden he was top 20 on the top 100, and then kind of fell back down to earth. So yeah, it's exact same kind of thing. Moving on to the defense, though. So main threats on the defense here. Their defense, especially as of late, has really not looked good. But these are the noteworthy guys here. So linebacker Bobby Wagner, he was number 74 in the NFL top 100. Pro Football Focus has him rated number 10 out of 82 linebackers. So he may be old, but he's still effective. Defensive lineman Daron Payne, he's rated number 12 on Pro Football Focus. Their two edge guys, Dorrance Armstrong, rated number 25 on Pro Football Focus. And then Von Miller is rated number 69. Not a great year for Von, but Von also does not have too many snaps. He's not out there all the time. So I don't know how much stock you put in this Pro Football Focus number because it's rated pretty low, but it's also a smaller sample size. So, just not what they thought of with the defense this year. The last guy they have on here, someone that we all probably know. So linebacker Frankie Louvu, he's rated number 51 out of 82 in Pro Football Focus, but he was on the NFL Top 100 number 70. And he's the one who has been fined for hip drop tackles. They actually announced he was going to be suspended for this game, but they appealed and rescinded the suspension. Frankie Louvu is the one that kind of headhunted Jared Goff on that pick 6 in the playoff game last year. And that really kind of messed up Goff for the rest of the game. And he was fined for that also, but we got no penalty or anything. So, I have a hatred for Frankie Louvu. I don't know if you do.
100%. And I know he's pretty good player, but I'm kind of glad that he's back for this because I have a feeling that we're going to punch that guy in the mouth. Like, we're just going to, they'll have some stuff set up. You don't headhunt a quarterback like that. That was ridiculous. So
I'm not overly worried about if he's a great player or whatever. It's just noteworthy that he's on there because he does play physical and he plays fast.
Yep. All right. The practice report for both these teams is so long that I had to do 2 slides for both of these teams. It was ridiculous. Not a place you want to be. Quickly, this is right now, the Commanders have 7 players that did not practice today. Started with Jade Daniels, Zach Ertz, tight end. This was just a rest day, but did not practice. Quan Martin, one of their safeties, hamstring, did not practice. Terry McLaurin, that quad injury I referenced earlier, did not practice. Von Miller got a veteran's rest day, did not practice. Tyler Owens, another safety, hamstring, did not practice. And Laramie Tunzel is dealing with a hamstring. They marked it as rest/hamstring. So I'm thinking he's going to play. But again, he did not practice because he's been dealing with an injury. So that's one slide. Second slide, and if you're, following us online, you can see it. If not, it's this list just keeps going and going and going. Cornerback, Trey Amos, hip injury, limited. Their starting running back, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, had a tooth, apparently limited. He's got maybe had a cavity or something, Jacob. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Too much candy at Halloween. He already had a tooth issue. Maybe he had gotten too much caramel, loss of filling. I don't know what the injury is. Defensive tackle Eddie Goldman, concussion, limited. Defensive tackle Jerzon Newton, dealing with an ankle, limited. Tight end Colson Yankoff, hamstring, limited. Bobby Wagner is listed on there, but he practiced in full with a thumb injury. So really long injury list. Obviously, Jane Daniels highlights that, Terry McLaurin, but yeah, they are dealing with a ton of injuries.
That's 8 starters. 8 starters are listed on there.
Yeah, it's insane. And that doesn't even go to what's on the IR, starters they've already lost. So,
right.
All right, Jacob. So before we move on to that, players on IR, Noah Brown, wide receiver, Austin Eckler, running backs out. Will Harris was their starting safety. That's how their defense was starting. Will Harris, former Lion. Marshawn Lattimore, he just got blown up in that Seattle game. He has been a bust for them. They traded for him last year. We talk about trade deadline deals. This is how they turn out a lot of times. They just don't work out. And Marshawn Lattimore is a case of a player not working out. Luke McCaffrey, there's a 4-string wide receiver, got injured in the last game.
Really effective kick returner. So, yeah.
Yep. All right, Jacob. Let's go over to the Lions practice. Very lengthy list. 2 slides for them as well.
All right. Hold your breath here, guys. So, the players not practicing on Wednesday. Safety Kirby Joseph still battling the knee injury. Taylor Decker did not practice. Penei Sewell did not practice. Dan Skipper did not practice. 3 offensive tackles not practicing here. Then you also have defensive lineman Pat O'Connor did not practice. He's battling a knee injury there. So those are all the guys for the Lions that did not practice. And then you've got limited practices from Miles Frazier, as we just said. Frazier and Pascal both have limited practices. Craig back at practice, limited. Rodrigo still working limited. Jacob Sailors, Grant Stewart, both limited practices as well. And then to round this up, Terrion is still listed with the shoulder injury, but he got a full practice in, as did linebacker Ty Summers and safety Daniel Thomas. So really long list of Lions injuries as well, but that's obviously Kirby's still battling that knee injury. We need him to be 100% before he comes back. It would be very, very bad for us if Decker and Penei are out.
Yes. So if you look at Taylor Decker, I know he had he came out with the knee injury or something like that in the last game. He came out of the game for a little bit, just listed with a shoulder. So that's the same injury he's been dealing with. I mean, obviously it's not great that he's out. Penei did say that he felt great. So it's looking good like Penei's going to play. I know that especially, if Decker's out, Penei's going to feel the pressure to play. So I would think that he's going to play, but
we do not want him to force that. It would be bad. It would be bad if he doesn't play, but if he's not 100%, we absolutely need him to rest that.
Yeah. I just don't know, if Skipper can't play and Decker can't play, who are we going to have at a tackle? We got to have someone out there.
Right. Brock Wright lining up at right tackle.
Yeah. Oh, man. Now what I want to see. All right, Jacob, why don't we talk about the team stats leading into this game, Washington and Detroit, see where they rank points scored. Why don't you go with that?
All right. So Lions still one of the top offenses in the league. I know we kind of feel like we're not moving the ball as effectively as we should, but we're number 2 in points scored right now, 29.9 average points per game. And then on the other side, the Commanders, 22.3 points per game, and that is good for 20th in the league. And then you flip that around the defense. The Commanders allow 26.2 points, which is 22nd in the NFL. The Lions defense, we allow 22.3 points per game, which is 14th. So the defense, obviously not quite as good as the offense, but we still, numbers-wise, outrank the Commanders from both offense and defense.
Pretty good margins. And, these numbers take into account, they when they had their team more healthy, and they're not. So their defenses look bad, especially when you look at that Seattle game last week. Now Seattle's hot, so they're a good team. So maybe they're not, they might look bad either way. But, I just think it's funny that we were ranked 3 in offense, and then after last week, our loss, we moved up to number 2.
Yeah,
But
right.
yet, those numbers tell you one thing, but watching it, you could see like we're not running like a well-oiled machine right now. But when you get to the Commanders interview, they think it's laughable that we're talking about our offense when we're ranked number 2 in points scored. All right. Offensively, we'll look at how we match up against Washington. We are 11th ranked in yards at 350.8. The Commanders come in at 16th ranked. They, however, are rushing at a very high rate, ranked 4 in the league at 139.9. However, I'm betting a lot of those yards are Jaden Daniels yards. You will see that Marcus Mariota runs far less than Jaden Daniels. And, so that probably takes into account right there. We are the 9th ranked rushing team at 125.1. We need to get that. We need to get that higher. I mean, that's a priority for us, and we need to get that higher. As far as passing yards per game, the Washington is way down at 27th, which I did not expect coming to this year that they would be ranked so far down there. They're averaging less than 200 yards per game at 189.6. We are coming in at 12th ranked at 225.6. So we look good offensively against them. What do the team defensive stats look like, Jacob?
All right, defensively, the Commanders actually give up 377.8 yards per game, which is 28th in the league. So almost, right at the bottom. The Lions on the other side, so we have 294.8 yards, which is good for 8th. Yards per game on defense. Commanders give up 124.2 yards, which is 22nd in the league. We have a top 10 rush defense. We give up 94.5 rushing yards per game. So maybe an interesting angle to look at is our rush defense against their running offense. Like you already said, Jaden Daniels, contributes to a lot of that, and he's not going to be playing, but still the threat of a running quarterback here. And then to wrap it up, passing yards per game. So this is the bad one for the Commanders as well. So they give up 253.6 passing yards per game, which is 29th in the league. And then we give up 200.3 passing yards, which is 12th in the league. So up and down, you pick whatever metric. I mean, rushing offense seems to be the only thing that the Commanders hold, any sort of advantage over us in, which is crazy with the running backs that we have.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. It's strange when you look at how these stats line up, but Dev will point out that, the passing yard or passing rank is 29th, and they're missing people like Marshawn Lattimore was a starter. He's not playing, so now you're getting Marshawn Lattimore's backup. So they're in a rough place over there. All right. We're gonna kick it over to our interview with Command This, and we'll see you guys on the flip side. All right, guys, we are glad to have these fellows on. This will be Phil's first time on the show, but Dev and Steve from Command This podcast, we welcome them back, even though Washington did what they did to us last year. We got them back. They are in a totally different mood now. I don't know why, but we'll get into that, I'm sure. So welcome, fellas. So glad that you guys are back with us.
Glad to be here.
Yes, thanks for having us, man. Under different circumstances, this would be an exciting week.
We had planned because we were pretty excited after we met with you the first time. You guys are some of our favorite people to talk football with, and the whole off season we have been talking to each other about, hey man, when we play each other, we're going to be on each other's pods, have a good time, kind of a reunion type feel, and we stink. Who'd have thought?
Jacob, I'm getting Titans feel of interviewing these guys when we interviewed those guys from the Titans that had given up on their season already last year.
Oh man,
I already talked about Cam Ward, and they didn't even, that was in the middle of the season. So I was really looking forward to talking with you guys a lot, and I still am. You guys are fun to talk football with, but
Gee,
I was
thanks,
hoping
Jason.
I was hoping the mood would be higher from you guys. So, but we'll get into it. Steve, we'll start with.
Can I start this interview, whatever you want to call it, with a question for you guys?
all right,
Yeah.
let's go.
Okay, so I believe it was November 20th, 1997. The Lions set their franchise record, 55 points in a game. How does it feel that in November of 2025 you're about to break that record against the Washington Commanders?
Oh man, when we watched you guys the defense against Seattle, oh my God, that was like Swiss cheese out there. It was bad, but our offense has not been as lights out as we would expect them to be. So I'm not sure about us breaking the record. I'm hoping that we score plenty of points, but yeah, that
Some of those horrible defenders aren't even going to get to play. Like some of those guys who contributed to the butt whooping aren't even going to be able to play. Like Lattimore, the guy that's worse than him is going to be playing. So you get, so it's like I don't know, man. It's
All
like
right, Steve.
playing the
These
college
guys are
of the
scoring
school of
30
the
points a
blind.
game, and they're not scoring points like they want to.
Yeah.
What a privilege.
Yeah,
I can tell you my score
sorry.
now.
That's
Lions
kinda-
65, us 3. That's how I
It
feel.
sounds like pompous. I know that, but if you were around here, the mood is that our offense is not clicking the way it should be, and I agree somewhat with it. But
You guys are the number 2 ranked scoring offense in the NFL. And
How do
I
y'all
know
feel
that.
about our offense then?
I know. It's certain people have different perspectives. So, anyways, Steve, tell us what get us caught up with the Commanders. We all know about the Jaden Daniels injury, but what else is going on with this team?
All right, so obviously we came into the season off that 12-5 season last year. Moods were high. Adam Peters really focused on adding veterans to really one-year deals. Bobby Wagner traded for Marshawn Lattimore last year. Added a couple other pieces. Signed Kinlaw, Von Miller. These guys that we thought that might take us a little bit over the edge where we needed to go defensively. Deebo Samuel, another free agent. And we thought this would be a year to make a run, and then you kind of slowly start rebuilding the roster after that. Well, none of that has really worked out. This team has been injury riddled since the beginning of the season. We're coming into this game 3-6. Jaden Daniels has missed, I want to say, he was missed 2 games. He got injured the first time, tweaked his hamstring. This time it's the left non-throwing elbow dislocation. Terry McLaurin's battling, I don't know what you call it, a groin injury. He's missed, all but two games and some change. We're down both of our starting defensive ends for the season. Marshawn Lattimore's out for the season. We lost Austin Eckler in week 1. We lost wide receiver 3, hasn't suited up all this year. We lost our starting strong safety, Will Harris, this year. So this team has been injury ridden. We got to 3-3 versus the Bears, and after that game, it's been all downhill from there. We lost 3 in a row. And this is a team that's, going to march out with Marcus Mariota, who's a great offensive backup quarterback. But at this point, almost every single one of our losses was to an NFC team. And I think that pretty much destroys almost all of your playoff hopes pending a miracle. So this game is going to be, in your favor as a Lions fan. But, crazier things have happened before.
Exactly.
It's like last week, the Vikings, we talked to some Vikings fans, and they were not feeling good about the season at all. They were not feeling good about that game. Kind of like how David said, they were expecting kind of to get blown away. And then, they pulled one out against us, and it flipped their whole season around if you ask them this week. So,
Dude, if we beat the Vikings, it'd be an upset.
yeah. Hey, you know what? A lot of people on this Lions team still remember that playoff loss, and it doesn't really matter that Jane Daniels is out. They
want.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
they
they're
want to
gonna-
take it. They want to take it to you guys. We want some payback.
They're gonna
Yeah.
sweep the leg.
You'll get it.
Sweet. I love that, Dub. Nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be ugly. And like I said, I mean, we were able to hang around with some teams. We had a healthier roster. We blew out some bad teams. We blew out the Chargers when they were a one loss team. And we thought, okay, when that Chargers game happened, we thought, okay, all right, we're back on track. They went up 10-0 on us and didn't score a point the rest of the game. Our defense was playing lights out. And we have seen none of that since. Ever since the Bears game where we fumbled away a victory, literally, it's just been injuries and defensive lapses. And it's the worst part is that it's the same lapses every game. There's communication issues in the defensive backfield. Our defensive line, we're down to third string guys at defensive end starting because we have lost our top 3 edge rushers. All 3 are gone for the season. So we're at a point now where it's like, it's situational guys we thought were going to get 10 to 15 snaps a game are going to be starting. And we're talking about Von Miller, who is old, Preston Smith, who is old, are going to be starting for us. They went out. This is how bad it is. They went out and got Drake Jackson as a free agent, knowing they had to put him on IR. Because they said, well, we'll get him back eventually. In 4 weeks, we'll get him back. He's back from injury. So it's just been a case of we'd rather get a guy who's on a 4-week IR just so we know that we'll have a fresh body to put in at defensive end at some point this season. What you're going to see on Sunday is not the team that you saw in the NFC divisional round for sure. It's and it's like I said, it's injuries. It's veterans who were great last year and are not great this year. It's terrible. We got a long way to go to get back to where we were.
Last year with all the injuries for the Lions, though, we literally were taking people from the practice squad or people that weren't even on the practice squad. Said, hey, you know what? You're available. We need you to start this week. Like just fresh off the street, coming in and starting in these, clutch games. And the same thing can kind of be said for, the Lions team that you saw, last year in the playoffs. Yeah. There's quite a few people that started that game that are either not on the team or, they're just not going to be starting, not playing.
You guys
anymore.
were down. You were down Aiden. You were down your, who's your deep defensive back who was injured last?
Carlton Davis was
Carlton
hurt.
Davis.
Yes.
And then Amit got hurt in the game. He broke his arm in the game, like from the early on play.
Don't remind us about broken arms.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, at least y'all still had St. Brown and Goff and both the running backs. You still
that's the difference.
We're going to Robbie Chosen and Mariota, bro. I mean,
at least all of our injuries were on the defensive side, or the majority of them were all on defense. We didn't get hammered.
Ours is on everywhere.
Right.
Yeah, we on everywhere. We don't have a defensive. I don't even know who's going to play defensive end for these guys.
It's Von Miller and Preston Smith. That's literally what we're down to.
I forgot we had Preston Smith. What a dud.
So from the Lions' perspective here, a lot of fans were, and they still are upset that the Lions didn't do enough, like with free agents, with the trade market. And, one argument against us going all in was to try to extend the Super Bowl window instead of just trying to get these players right now. And the Commanders, like you guys have already said, you got a lot of guys on 1-year deals. You signed a lot of people in anticipation of this being the chance for you guys to get the Super Bowl. So what are your feelings about that strategy in general? And, are the Commanders a cautionary tale about going all in because of these injuries and the way that it just looks like it hasn't worked out? I mean, were you guys super stoked about Debo and everything, or?
We were. We feel like he was the missing piece. Terry was going to come back. It was going to be more than just we call it Terry and the Jags, right? Just average guys, but Terry and Debo pair up together. But Austin Eckler in the backfield. We never had them together for more than a few plays. Yeah. And so you get these guys on 1-year deals, and age shows, right? A lot of these 1-year deals are age. Bobby Wagner looks old, and we brought him back on a 1-year. He is old. I would tail the 1-year deals. It's a high risk, high reward, and clearly it didn't pay off for us as it stands right now because we're lacking a lot of youth and depth on the team.
Dev, would you have done it that way? Would you have done it that way, Dev?
No, it makes it crazier that we weren't even sellers at the trade deadline of these. Like someone could have used Wagner. You know what I'm saying? For the stretch at the end.
Nobody
Someone-
wants him.
I don't wonder if that's true, but I wonder, like, if somebody couldn't have used Von Miller to play on third downs every now and then, one of these teams that don't need him to play, but like maybe 10, 11 starts a game. Like one of these guys didn't need Eckler. I mean, not Eckler, but Ertz. You know what I'm saying? Like some of these guys, or even Debo Brown, who I think he's on like one of those dead pill contracts where like we could release him for a lot more money next year or pay him very little. But
Yeah.
you know, even that tells me, I wonder if Debo was a reason. Maybe they discussed keeping him. Maybe they told him he's in our plans. Is that because it made no sense to keeping that guy at trade deadline if he's not? Even Payne, there's almost no chance that Payne comes back here next year, man. So why keep him on the team? Unless they're dumb enough to think they could just win out or some crazy stuff. Like, are we delusional, bro? I know this is probably not just the Lions pod. We shouldn't talk about our own weirdness. But is Washington delusional? Do we think we have a shot at making the playoffs this year?
No.
Right. I mean, as fans, no, right? But is that what Quinn and the GM and the owners are selling? That, hey, man, I got the stadium. What do you?
Yeah, that was actually going to be one of our questions. So you talked right into it because we just wanted to know if you thought like, hey, should they have moved pieces and got more draft capital during the trade deadline? Or is the thought process like, hey, we stay in this thing long enough, Jaden Daniels comes back, and maybe we sneak into the playoffs and, have a shot here.
A dislocated elbow is only like a 3 to 4 week injury, man. Theoretically, he could still come in when it matters. But in order for it to matter, we'd have to win. And there's no chance, and to quote the great Vince McMahon, no chance in hell that, you're going to win enough games with this many people out. You would have a hard time doing it if tomorrow everybody just woke up healthy. Like everybody just got a Gatorade with their VC like on 2K and just woke up healthy. You know what I'm saying? Like if it just happened starting today, you would have a hard time doing it. So you mean to tell me we're playing with out of starting corner, no starting defensive ends, one starting, I guess 2 old ass linebackers, one starting safety, maybe no to 1 starting wide receiver. The 4th string receiver's out for the season as well. Old ass tight end who's injured also slightly, and your number 2 quarterback that no one else won in free agency. You telling me that those guys are going to win in those games for the Golden Child to come back? I mean, the Ravens, maybe.
See,
The Ravens are in a situation it could happen for them.
Man, I should have brought some Prozac. I should have brought some Xanax because man, these guys are deep in it, Jacob. So all the Lions fans that we lost to the Vikings, but we're still 5-3. This is what it could look like, right? So like it's a cautionary tale, like Steve said. Phil, what's your feeling? Like you've let Steve and Dev talk. Your feeling going into the moves you made, like. Would you have done that over? It's hindsight's 2020 now, so you know how it's worked out. But were you in? Were you thinking this is it? Was it worth the risk for you?
it was one of those things where if you had guys that you're gonna get some value for, yeah, get rid of them. If they were fielding offers and people are offering nothing of value, if it was just gonna be, oh look, we traded 6 guys at the deadline and got 6 7-round picks for it.
They would have been better than nothing because you're going to get nothing for them next year. I'd have took 6 7-round picks for those guys.
Dev hates it when I say that. But
I
at the same
would've.
time, it's like, how many, are you going to then turn around and try to flip those 7-round picks for a 6-round pick and flip the couple 6-round picks for a 5th-round pick? It's like,
Or you can do nothing.
There's a lot of circus games you have to play in order to make that work. Right now, because the way the team is played, everybody's stock is down, except for the guys who really, Javon Kinlaw has actually been pretty good, especially because he eats up space in the middle. Teams have to double team him to get runs up the middle. Simple as that. He's done a good job with that. So you're not trading him. Plus, you just signed him to a 3-year deal. You're not trading him. And there's a couple guys like that. Debo, for all the lack of, oh my God, he's having such a fantastic season. He's our leading receiver by a lot. And the thing that's been disappointing has been the guys who, the unsung unknowns that everyone gets a lot of hype for, because our franchise is notorious that we have training camp heroes, and they've come in and have not proven themselves at all either. They have not looked good when they've gotten on the field and actually played in games. Biggest one being Jordan McGee, linebacker. Everyone thought Jordan McGee was, oh my God, we should just sit Bobby Wagner. Jordan McGee. And then I said, then you look and the guy drops back into coverage and is completely lost. You couldn't give him Google Maps to find a receiver to cover. It's stuff like that. So nobody, not even the young guys, are proving themselves as having value to say, well, we'll move him. Let some other team deal with his development. We haven't even gotten that kind of level of play out of some of these guys. So my thought process is that, well, you can't move them. Play out the season and figure it out in the off season, because if you can't get value for these guys, you can't, you have to have two to tango in that. And I don't think a lot of teams were interested in many of our players except for, a couple offensive linemen, because that's the only position where we really haven't had any issues as far as injuries go.
And you can't give those guys, because Jaden Daniels is going to eventually come back. You
well,
gotta protect
the one
him.
who was growing interest, I wanted him gone 3 years ago. So, and that's Andrew Wiley. Andrew Wiley can get out of here. We have Dev gives out an award after every game called Glock Dookie Award for the player who's just the absolute just drizzling worst player out there. And Wiley has won that award more times than any other player in this franchise's history since we've been doing this podcast. So and he earns it. So he's played marginally better in a Cliff Kingsbury offense. I'll give him that. But he's still playing at a replaceable level. That's why I'm like, just if you can get a 6 for him, get rid of him. Get him off my team. But that didn't happen. So I guess nobody wanted him either. So
yeah,
is what it is. So, let these contracts expire. Renew if you got people you actually want to renew. Other than that, let them walk. Let them do whatever and figure it out in the offseason.
All right, Jacob.
All right. So Dan Campbell was asked about the criticism of leaving Jaden Daniels in that late in the game. He sympathized with Quinn's decision. How do you guys feel about it? Obviously the game's way out of hand. They leave Daniels in, he gets hurt. Now he's out for an indefinite period of time. Right away, were you guys like, why is he even in this game? Why do we do this? Or, what are your thoughts?
Steve? I 100% agree. Why was he in there? You're down 31 points. You're not going to get much development after. Yes, you need development at that point. The game was over. The man didn't need that many reps. Seattle's defense was on him all game long. I don't know why he was in there, but Quinn said he was going to come out in the next drive. There's also some context. There's nuance to that though. I kind of understand where Dan Quinn's coming from, because that drive in the fourth quarter, it started at 12 minutes and it went down to 7 minutes. It was a 5-minute drive. We were driving down the field. So it wasn't like, he went drive after drive after drive in the fourth. It was going to be his final drive in the fourth quarter. In 7 minutes in the fourth quarter, that's a respectable time to pull Jaden Daniels. So there's a little nuance if you didn't watch the game. So it was a long drive. So I kind of understand why he was in that long, and he was going to bring him out the next game. But, bad things. It's just unfortunate timing. But yes, I was wondering why he was in there, but you can't take him out mid-drive. And it was a long drive. So yes, that's my opinion.
My thought process was that, if you're going to take him out, you don't take him out mid-drive. And that was a drive where the offense was actually cooking a little bit. They had driven all the way down. They were inside their 10-yard line, the Seattle 10-yard line. If you finally are starting to build some momentum, you're trying to just build anything that you can work off of for the rest of the game, for the coming week, going into the next game. You want to build something. So, and that was starting to happen. So I was fine with him being in there because, as Steve said, when he went in, it was fourth quarter. It just started. You're 12 minutes, some seconds in. So, all right, final drive, go out there. But injuries can happen at any time. And there are some in our fan base who probably would complain if he got hurt in the second quarter. Well, we were down 21. Why was he still in there? What was the second quarter? You know, hindsight's 2020, and people love to complain with hindsight. Given the context of everything that was happening, I'm fine with him being in there, but that's just me. And you know, with the fact that that was going to be his last drive, it makes perfect sense to me. You know, it's not like we don't know what Marcus Mariota can do. So it's not like, you know, you're taking away from his development.
Plus, people forget Jayden is a young quarterback, and every snap matters to this guy. There's still things he hasn't seen. He has honestly, a year's worth of snaps, considering the games he's missed. There's still some things he could learn, some things he could pick up on faster. It's easy to say, looking back at it, because he got hurt, we see the end result and think, he shouldn't have been out there. Of course not. You wouldn't think if you're down 31 points and your quarterback could get hurt. But you're thinking, hey, man, so far he's kind of stood up, gotten the passes off, made some escapes when he needed to. What's the chances he'll fall down on his off throwing arm and his elbow dislocates? You know what I'm saying? So I can't hate on the coach for that. And I know Jayden's a competitor, man. He's going to make – I know he also said that play was intended to not run at all for the quarterback. He just scrambled out. Jayden is a competitor, man. He's going to try and get the yard every time. We've all seen this all year. And another thing is, that's three times he's been injured. I guess in the Carolina Panthers game I was at, hip tackle brought him down, broke his rib. Then the second time he got hurt is a PCL sprain. A hip tackle from Green Bay brought him down. And then this game, kind of a hip tackle.
Yep.
So I don't remember any of those being called either, by the way, on the field. I don't know if they got
that was last season when they were, that was last season's problem. It's totally fixed now.
The irony in that, the NFL just fined Frankie Louva like $100K for his.
I was just going to say, the king of the hip drop tackles is on your team.
Right. It got overturned because I guess they went back and looked at it and they were like, I guess we were wrong. But they overturned it. So he is playing.
He got fined. They overturned the suspension.
What we usually call,
Yeah.
What we call anyone that tackles someone bigger does that same tackle. I mean, I like the Scatterbro hit. How are you supposed to bring that guy down?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can't tackle him high, obviously. How are you bringing that guy down?
Well, you can't tackle him high because he'd run his helmet right into you.
Yeah.
That's what he does. He just puts his head down and runs you over. All right. So, interesting thing. Marcus Mariota, if you look at PFF, is rated higher than Jayden Daniels. I don't believe that. I think that's a crap rating. But what does Marcus Mariota do, like, in this offense differently than Jayden Daniels? That is seen in maybe in a positive way.
He's
is there
faster.
anything?
I think he's faster. Me and Steve argue this all the time. If you want to look at the Mariota highlights this year, just this year alone, and then look at Jayden Daniels highlights, Mariota looks like he's faster than that guy. It's crazy to believe it, man. But he looks even as athletic. And I know what is Mariota, like 35, 32 or something?
He's 30.
Really? Well, he ain't even that old, honestly.
But Mariota, the one thing is Mariota's recognition and decision making is generally faster than Jayden's. And I think a lot of that's just veteran savvy and the fact that he's in an offense that he flourished in Oregon. I mean, it's very similar offense, very spread concepts, things like that.
He's the best RPO quarterback in the league, man.
I tell you, his decision making on RPOs is way better than Jayden's. Jayden sometimes hands the ball off when he shouldn't, or he pulls it out of the running back's hands when he shouldn't. Marcus is almost dead on. Whatever the decision he makes is usually the better decision. It may not amount to much, but whatever the other options were worse. And he does do a very good job of north-south running when he pulls the ball down to run. He'll find an open hole and he just goes. Jayden will juke you out your shoes. But Marcus, he goes point A to point B. He's a north-south guy when he pulls that down. And, he does well with it. So that's where I think he does well, is that he has a very good he has such a command of the offensive concepts, and his decision making is very, very, very quick.
Yeah.
Whereas Jayden, until last week, was looking very slow. He didn't look this way year one. Year two, he's been slower to kind of process what's going on. I think defenses are changing up on him. And last week he did look more decisive for the first
He
time.
also got
all
that brace
season.
off too.
But yeah, he didn't have the brace on and everything else. He was pulling it down faster. He was putting a lot more zip on his throws. But Marcus does that. So the drop off from QB1 to QB2 really isn't that significant in terms of how the offense moves. It's going to be the same offense because both of them will run it. Both of them can run it. Both of them run it well. Marcus just runs it differently, and he seems to be very comfortable with it. So that's what he brings to the table.
What do you think, Steve?
Kind of what Phil says. I think it's the processing speed in the pass game. Clearly much faster than Jaden Daniels is, and that's just through experience and, knowing to throw guys open a lot. That's a tough thing to do, and especially for young quarterbacks. So definitely the processing speed in the pass game, and kind of like just saying what everyone else said, the RPO decision making. But for me, it's the processing of the pass game. Marcus knows read, boom, 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 no one open, take check down. Where Jaden will hold it a little longer, thinking he can make something happen. And sometimes you just gotta get what the defense can give you, and sometimes it's just a check down for nothing. So.
That's kind of like from the outside looking in. It just feels like Mariota is more of like stick to the script. He knows plan A, B, and C. And Jaden Daniels is more of like, what can I do to improv? What can I do to make something happen? And, a lot of times for a young quarterback, you're trying to make something out of nothing, and you just got to give what the defense is giving you.
Yeah, and his legs are an X factor clearly when he's healthy. So Jaden has that ability. Marcus doesn't really have that ability. He can, and he's fast like Dev said, but he ain't as shifty as Jaden is. So he knows he's got to be smarter with the ball as opposed to Jaden, who can just, if I don't see anything, I'm going to run.
Yeah, Mariota likes to hurdle people.
Mariota will break out at some point. He will break out a run, and he'll just take off, and then you'll blink, and you're like, whoa, how do you get 10, 15 yards downfield so fast? Like, you'll have a moment like that in every game. And you guys will probably see it too. He'll get off one run where you're going to go, whoa, didn't know he had that in him. And, we're used to it, but other teams, I've noticed their fans, when those plays happen, you go look on social media, there'll be a couple comments. I didn't know Mariota could do that.
Yeah. When Goff takes off, he looks like he's moving in slow motion, and we're like, please just get down.
Well, luckily, Goff will still probably break off about a 20-yard run on us doing that. Our defensive backs take the absolute worst angles in the history of mankind, and they don't wrap up when they tackle. So, Goff is going to go out there looking like Scatabo running through tackles.
Goff could have 30 yards of space, and he still wouldn't get more than 5 or 7 yards. They'll hawk him
looks
down
like
quick.
He's running on the beach. Yeah, he's running on the beach,
right.
man. He's insane.
So
they've flexed this game out of being America's game of the week Sunday at 4:25. So I think it's going to be the Rams in San Francisco as the NFL game of the week that they're promoting. So just a heads up, that's what we're bringing to the table.
Man, it is disappointing that we didn't get the game that we thought we were going to get with you guys. I mean, I was hoping that this was going to be a marquee matchup, and it was going to lead into, because we'd have Philadelphia after this, so it was going to lead Washington right into Philadelphia.
We'll be cheering for you.
Yes.
Either way.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to see Terry McLaurin either on Sunday, which is also.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going on with that dude's injury either.
Yeah.
Because no one has said what it is other than quad.
Jason, I would love to agree with how you feel about wishing that we were, up to par. Because I wish that you guys sucked and we could just smoke you guys down. I wish the shoe was on the other foot. I wish that the St. Brown had scurvy or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could just
scurvy. He can't have scurvy. He's out promoting Honey Nut Cheerios. He's eating plenty of his vitamins.
Yeah, that dude's in like phenomenal shape. By genetically, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, from a stress level, it's nice to like not have to worry about, Jaden Daniels being out there or whatever. I get that. But, if you want to win the Super Bowl, if you want to win in the playoffs, you're going to have to prove that you got to beat those teams. And, if you can't beat them now, then, you're not going to beat them in January. And that's the way I look at it. But, regardless, it'll be good for us, after, having a disappointing loss versus the Vikings, because everyone counted on that being a win. And before the season, this was a toss-up. I mean, people were, this was going to be a tough place. You could go into your place, guys.
Man, I
you guys knocked us
doubt y'all
out of the
gonna
playoffs.
lose. I doubt you're gonna lose to Dan Campbell. I doubt Dan Campbell's gonna lose to Carson Wentz and Mariota, bro.
Man,
No, that ain't gonna happen. We lost to
you already
JJ.
you already lost to one of our former quarterbacks. You can't lose to one of our current ones.
Ugh. I don't
Can't
like you
do
guys.
that, man. You can't do that.
Yeah.
So just kind of looking at this, y'all are as road team 9-point favorites going into this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
So take away the 3 points we get for being a home team. That's a 12-point spread. This should be a very stress-free, comfortable week for you
I
guys.
feel like we're getting cuckolded. I feel like the Lions are just coming into our house.
I'm trying to take their guard down. So if we upset them, it's
It
like,
already
oh,
happened
wow.
last week. It already
The
happened last
Lions
week.
are coming in our house and having their way with our wives, dog. That's what's gonna happen.
More often
All
than
right,
not,
guys.
we
Eat
beat
our
that
lunch.
Vikings
We're gonna
team.
eat our lunch, man, out of our refrigerator, bro.
Yeah.
Drink up the last
Oh.
swig of Kool-Aid.
I'm not going to go into this game as confident as I came into last week's game. So I like our chances, but I'm not going to have that same confidence and swagger. It backfired on me. So before we go, quick prediction on the game. Anything that you think is going to happen doesn't have to be the score. Dev's already predicted that, we're going to score 60. Phil said that we're going to break
81.
our team record.
81.
Steve, what do you got?
yeah, I don't even know the over under for this one, but it's probably going to be like 40-20, something along those lines. And
The over-under is 49.5.
You think we'll score 20?
Marcus has done it before, but maybe with all the injuries, maybe like 40-17, something like that. It ain't going to be pretty. I will be surprised.
72.
I will be surprised if it's a fully functioning team. Even if the offense finds a way to work, the defense is just going to let you down. All you got to do is run drag routes in front of Bobby Wagner, and you'll 10-20 yards easily. Send them on raw across the field. No one can stop them.
It'll be it'll be the worst loss we've ever taken at home. I think it'll be the worst loss
Wow.
we've
Montgomery
ever taken.
and Gibbs,
50.
maybe a century each.
I'm calling 55.
You think we'll score 26?
Garbage time.
Garbage time.
Man,
Garbage time.
55-10. Lions.
Wow.
I hope you guys are right, man.
I want to say 81.
I'm not as confident.
I think they might score 81.
81 would be appropriate. We did retire Art Monk's number last week, and look what happened.
What's the over under on that, Steve?
What?
49.5.
What is
40,
it?
he said 49.5.
They're gonna score is 69. Crazy. 6-7, as the young kids will say. That's how many points.
It would be a good time to get some of your young guys who need work. Like two guys last week from Seattle had their first major playing time, and they both scored touchdowns last year.
Oh, man.
Troy Horton and Arroyo
Horton
touchdowns
scored
against
too.
his team. So
Seattle
Horton
just took
looked
it to you
good.
guys right away, though. Like, just right from the jump. That was crazy.
yeah.
Who's y'all's worst receiver?
Worst receiver? The rookie Tesla doesn't
well,
get very many
actually-
snaps anymore, so I guess you would.
love it.
He
Love it would
he
be-
will Sunday. He will catch a touchdown Sunday. I'm putting some money on that guy on FanDuel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would put money on Tesla. Yeah, do it.
Yeah,
I
he's gonna
thought
have-
he was going to be insanely good coming into this year somehow in that offense. I don't know if it's a
I don't need him.
Yeah.
Wow. 3 catches for 54 yards and 2 touchdowns?
He'll have 3
That's a
against
crazy,
us.
that's a strange stat line for that kid.
He'll have 3
Well,
against us.
he had the first 2 catches. Go look at the highlights. They were all timers.
Yeah, I
Like
see
his
it.
first touchdown catches, they're both one-handers. Ironically, his third one was he caught with 2 hands and he juggled it a little bit. But the one-handers, he just looked like OBJ. It was insane.
I mean, our fan
All
base.
right, fellas.
OBJ ain't been that good since that catch either.
Traylon Burks.
No, he hasn't.
trying to
He's been
make a
he's
career
sitting
comeback
in your
about-
division, and he hasn't done anything. But I think OBJ is at fault for how OBJ ended up in his career. That's my opinion. So, all right, fellas, whoever wants to do it, Phil, Steve, Dev, whoever, tell us a little bit about your podcast, and and tell everybody where we could, because we're going to be on your show tomorrow. So.
Yeah, you can find us at command_this on X, or just go to YouTube and find Command This Podcast. We're there. A lot of run-on names at Command. We were the first one to make the switch. But yeah, we're live every Monday and Thursday doing pregame, postgames, light humor, little gritty, and the run on your podcast name. But yeah, you can find us anywhere, man. Mondays and Thursdays we're live. Lately we've been doing a lot of these postgame reactions when we're emotional, and it's been rather funny. after some of these, especially Phil with his opening monologue. It's been fun, but yeah, excited to have you guys on tomorrow.
And not only that, but we are always surprised at how many people say, "Yeah, I watch your show with my kids." Like, you let your kids watch us? Have you heard some of the things we say?
Oh.
Man,
It's mostly Dev, though. I think that's mostly Dev's space. I don't know. Is it you, Phil? Are you guilty?
No, my monologues can look literally. If they had never come up with that parental advisory sticker for music albums, they would have eventually come up for it for me.
For you.
I'd
Okay.
say some flagrant stuff, especially when we lose.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But it's all in the name of entertainment.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good.
Fair enough.
Steven said it. We're going to be on the podcast tomorrow, 8:35 p.m. That's where we're going live, right?
East
Steve?
Coast time. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Thursday night, 8:35 p.m. Catch us on YouTube. Get some line support on their channel. They are good sports about getting comments up. They include everybody. So, just be kind, and you don't have to kick a team while they're down. Although you may feel like it after they kicked us last
we'll
year.
accept it.
Yeah.
Look, we got to take it.
Yeah. All right. Thanks again, fellas.
All right. Appreciate you guys.
Good night.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, Jacob. Keys to victory. Why don't you start us out here? You only got one this week. Last week you only had one. Do you got more than one?
No, I switched it up because last week I said all we have to do is just play our game. We're going to be okay. We beat them 9 times out of 10. Just don't make any mistakes. Just play our game. And then everybody on the team did not play our game. Just everything went wrong. Yeah. So I decided I'm going to be specific again. That way, if I jinx something, it will not be the whole team.
Okay. Good
but
call.
I do have a couple different keys to victory. So the first one I'm going to go with is, an obvious one, but still, you got to mention it, is to get the run game going. All 3 losses this year have come when we rush less than 100 yards. So especially now that we're without Mahogany, we need the offensive line to kind of correct their mistakes and get going right away. And we don't have the luxury of playing at home this time. It may rain on Sunday. I don't know if you saw the weather, so that's a possible factor too. The pass game may not be quite as effective, but the Commanders' defense really poor. With rushing yards, they've been susceptible to the run as they have the pass. But complementary football is going to be key. But we've got to find a way to run the ball effectively, and we just cannot have another game where Jameer gets less than 10 carries.
Yep, I'm right there with you. Mine kind of goes along with that. I want to stay ahead of the sticks. Don't get in this 3rd and long stuff. Stay ahead of the sticks. I want to see some passes early on, and then we can maybe pass to set up the run, especially with their pass defense as bad as it is. I don't care. Get a 4 or 5 yard screen so that we could go 2nd and 5, and then they don't know what we're going to do. Are we going to run? Are we going to pass on 2nd down? And that way third's manageable. We fell too far into the 3rd and long game last time. I do not want that to happen. My second one is stop their running game. I know we talked about them being 4th ranked. A lot of that has to do with Jaden Daniels, but make Marcus Mariota beat us, and I don't think he can do that. Just stop the running game, keep them in 3rd and long, and do the opposite of what we want to do. Keep them behind the chains.
Yep. So it kind of touches on both of mine. The first one that I have was just to lock in on 3rd down, and that's on both ways. Our offense ranks 25th right now in 3rd down conversion rate. So we can kind of chalk that up to the frequency that we're in 3rd and long, because we keep getting ourselves in those situations with false starts or just negative plays, or the sacks also last week. But it's that, but it's also maybe just the fact that a lot of 3rd down, we run plays designed to get a few yards so that we go for it on 4th, right? Either way, though, being ranked 25th in anything is not where you want to be when you're talking about being a Super Bowl contender. So we've got to clean up the play calling. We've got to clean up the execution. We just have to be better on 3rd down on both offense and defense. So defensively, we allow 37% conversion rate on 3rd down. And we see it time and time again. We get them in 3rd down, and then they are able to extend these drives, whether that's from penalty or, 3rd and 10, and all of a sudden they get a, 15, 20 yard gain just by chucking it deep. So when we get them to 3rd down, we've got to make the plays. We're without DJ Reed, Kirby, probably out again. It's harder to play man on 3rd down for Mollett, and I know they targeted him a couple times, but either we need to change the play calling or find a way for that blitz to get home. But we've got to do something different on third down. We've got to be better this week. Third down offensively and defensively.
I agree. And they talked about it coming out of the bye week, and we just fell in the same stuff right out the break, which was really disappointing. My last thing is not, I put it in keys to victory, but it's really what I want to see. I just want to see complementary, like a complete game that I feel confident in all three phases. Doesn't have to be their best game. I'm not saying that we have to play their best game. I just want to see, us not give up a huge special teams play. I just want to see us work together. Even after, we don't even have a drive on offense that we don't get a touchdown, get 2 or 3 first downs so that we're pinning them back. That's why Minnesota, we had so many 3 and outs that, Minnesota just kept having good field position. And even if they wouldn't score, they're pinning us deep and we're starting with very poor field position. So even if offensively we're not moving, we need to help the defense out and get them closer to their end zone so they feel pressure and they don't have as much room and don't feel as comfortable, especially with a backup quarterback, right? I just want to see a more complete game. That I'm proud of all 3 units.
That's fair. I only have one more, and it's just to make sure that we win the turnover battle. Because in the playoffs, that was the biggest reason that we lost, is we turned the ball over 5 times and we did not get any takeaways ourselves. And one of them was a pick six, right? I mean, that's the reason that we lost that game. So just win the turnover battle, even if we end up giving it up. If we obviously don't want to give them it all, but if we give them 1 or 2, we got to be able to get at least 1 or 2 back then.
Yep. These are not keys to victory, but just on NFL Pro had some insights that I think are very vital to this game. Commanders defense has allowed the 3rd most completions and a league high 843 yards on vertical routes. So what does that mean? JMO and Tesla, right? We could see some vertical routes on them. Talk about opening up the offense, getting some explosives. This could, get us back on track, get some confidence building, nice to put on tape. And we talked about the running game of Washington being good. It's a little different with Marcus Mariota. He runs about league average on 13% of his dropbacks. He'll scramble. However, Jay Daniels was at a league leading mark of 24.1%. So he was like 10 percentage points over. So we don't have to worry about Marcus Mariota taking off nearly as much as we did with Jay Daniels back.
Right. I think if Mariota's taking off, it's just kind of like how a regular, if it's not there and we kind of give him a lane that he might try to take off. And we've been pretty good about containing quarterbacks like that so far this year.
Exactly. I mean, he may get some yards on a first down, but I don't look at that like he's going to tear us up, whereas Jane Daniels, he's looking to run. He's looking to make a play. And Marcus Mariota, that's his last ditch thing. It's like, I'm going to take some positive yardage here. And he's veteran. He knows how to do that. So we'll see how it goes. All right, Jacob, anything else in keys to victory? Are you good to go?
I'm good.
All right, man. Roar alert. This is the player that we think is going to make some noise. Let's not be a curse, Jacob. We got to be better with this. Who are you picking for your roar alert?
Yes, there will be no curses this week. Only good vibes. No superstitious. No second thoughts about this one. So my roar alert this time, I'm going to go with Jared Goff. The loss in the playoffs last year really bothered everybody, but I think Goff took it especially hard. He had the pick six, and that hit from Luvu, like that helmet-to-helmet thing, that was in the second quarter. And I mean, really, he just was not, something was off. He probably did not need to be in the game. He clearly had like a concussion and had some sort of issues there. But, so I know that Goff really took that one hard. He definitely is looking forward to this game, despite, the personnel changes that they have over there, I guess. Goff's been thinking about this one all year. So that's who my roar alert is going to be, is that Goff is going to, take care of the ball. He's going to do something special. He'll lead the charge here. Who you got?
I'm going with number 97, Hutch. He's going to have a good game in this one. Not calling for any specific stats or anything like that. I just think Hutch is going to take over this game. He's leading the league in pressures. I think he converts, hopefully a couple of those to sacks. But I think Hutch is going to be a difference maker on defense that we need him to be, right? We need him to just make some plays. All right. This is it. Great guarantee time. You went with the roar alert. I'm going with the same guy that you went with. Goff goes for over 300 for my grit guarantee. He's got to go over 300 in this game, get back on track. Hopefully weather's not a factor, but even if it is, Goff's going to have a good game. What do you got, Jacob?
All right. My grit guarantee is that J-Mo has his best game of the year so far. So
all right,
my guarantee is that he's going to hit or surpass his season high for touches. So right now, the most he's got in a game was against the Chiefs, where he had 6 catches. He did not have any carries. It was just 6 catches. So I'm going to say he surpasses that. So maybe it's a handoff and a couple catches, maybe a kickoff return or something like that here. But I'm going to say that J-Mo touches the ball at least 6 times or more and has what we're going to say is his best game so far.
All right. I'm all about it. We talked about the vertical routes. I could definitely see a deep shot going on here. Hopefully he doesn't pass interfere on it, right, Jacob? You don't like seeing that.
I don't, and I hope that we don't let him throw the ball this time.
That could be one of his touches, man.
I'm not about that.
No, to be all redemption, right? That would be. No, we're gonna save that J-Mo pass for the Bears game in the last game of the year.
Yeah, right. There you go. I like that.
Yeah. All right, man. I'm looking forward to this. To this game. I think it's still it's still a 4:00 game, right? Still 4.
It is still 4. Yep, 4:25. Yeah. I think.
Yeah, they haven't moved it out of there. So we gotta wait. So we'll watch Red Zone at 1:00. Get to watch our game. Looking forward to that. I don't have to work this weekend, so I get to watch the whole thing like how I want to be able to really pay attention to it. And I'll want to rewatch it too, because hopefully we're scoring a bunch of points, and those are always fun to rewatch.
Exactly.
Yep. Jacob and I and another episode, we're going to talk about the trade. Jacob listed it at the top, so if you go over to the NFL episode that we put out this week, it'll probably release around 4:00 on Thursday. We talk more in depth about the NFL trades. We talk about what the Jets did, but then we also talk about Lions and our reaction to what we thought they should or shouldn't do. Are we disappointed? Those are all things that we discussed there. So if you wanted to hear our thoughts on there, I go over there. That pod's, I think we ended up around 35 minutes on that one, so it's not a very long pod, but it's a topic that all of us Lions fans are really interested in. All right, Jacob, anything parting thoughts? Are you feeling confident, or you don't want to say anything going into this one?
Nope. I will reserve my comments. No.
All right.
It should be a good game. I mean, not going to count my chickens before they hatch. Is that the...
Okay.
If I'm going to use your old adages or whatever you want to... Yeah.
Yeah. I gotcha. Yeah.
Nothing is ever in the bag anymore.
You're going to have to tell me.
Yeah. Hilarious.
No, man. Yeah. No. Yep, I'm looking forward to it. I feel pretty good going into this one, but I felt good last week, so I'm cautiously feeling good going into this one. I don't want to get overconfident like you are.
When you have a good team, every week you go into it expecting that you're going to perform well. That doesn't always mean that you win, but that means you expect to perform well. Last week we did not perform well, and we lost. So we need to come out and perform well this time.
Right. It's also like it's like that expectation thing, like going in, like it's the harder fall because your expectations are high, so it's a longer fall when you don't meet those expectations, especially when you lose. Like it's like I've had games where I've had really high expectations and we skate out. Like say we would have skated out of that Vikings game, yeah, I'm happy that we won, but I'm still like disappointed in the effort that was given in that game overall.
It's like the Texans game. That was awesome to escape that one with the win, but I mean that was not. It was ugly.
Yeah, you're feeling Goff given all that, and it'll be just nice to get, hopefully at the end of this we're back on the winning ways. Maybe the Packers lose this week too, and we end up being at the top of the division. How things would change in 1 week. Yeah, and Twitterverse would be happy once again.
Yeah.
All right, for Jacob, I'm Jason. Let's go Lions.